Hello, my name is Stephen Blum, CTO of PubNub.
And I'm Craig Conover. I run the support department.
Cool. We are chatting this week, weekly FAQs on PubNub. What's our number one FAQ this week?
We'll start off with Francois. He's building a telco that rings telephones, and he wants to know why he gets CORS errors, otherwise known as cross-origin resource sharing. Yeah. And this pops up in different browsers from time to time, seemingly at random times for no reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'll on PubNub's network, the way we sort of send and receive data, we have long-lived TCP socket connections. But with a browser, they expect to have special headers called CORS headers, allow access for certain resources over that connection. If a CORS header is excluded from the payload on a response, then an error is thrown in the browser. They occur when a TCP socket is severed through the browser. And essentially what's occurring is the browser is noticing that it's missing a CORS header. And a CORS header is sort of an identification from the source saying, I allow access, remote access to this resource over this domain. And what's missing is that header because no data came down the pipe. What really should be happening is the browser should give a TCP socket error saying severed or aborted, rather than saying, oh, there's CORS errors now. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's how they've implemented it. So you can ignore those. They're gonna...
Right. What you want to really look out for is if you're actually getting any data loss, and if you are, then we want to know about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Next on the list is James. He's building financial market data feeds, and he was recently experiencing bad gateway or 503s when trying to publish. So what do you have to say about that, Stephen?
Ooh, that's a good one. In this case, a lot of the times is you're heading some sort of proxy in the middle that's going to be doing something that's not necessarily within the policy of the same TCP range that we have. We have an unlimited TCP policy for forever long-lived connections, whether it's a publish message or a data feed down through a subscribe call. The gateway could close the socket or decide to do something different in the middle. The best thing to do in this case is make sure to enable SSL across the board. That seems to alleviate all 503 errors from man-in-the-middle proxies. They can't modify headers, they can't throw extra weird responses down the pipe, and they can't decide to close the socket when they want, because that's essentially what's happening here. Mm-hmm. The proxy is being very courteous, sending all the proper HTTP headers, just saying, sorry, this is over. We're closing it now. Try again. Better solution for immediate alleviation is to enable SSL TLS.
Excellent. All right, thank you. And finally, Marco is building API management platforms, and he wants to know about how to get messages that were missed while the client was disconnected. And this is obviously common in a mobile situation where they're switching networks, going through tunnels. So we have two mechanisms that you can lean on, and one of them is our automatic catch-up. Message catch-up feature, which allows you to get messages in short-term disconnections. It's like you never were disconnected is what the feeling is, the end result. But then we also have long-term storage that you can use. So if you get on a plane, you get off a plane hours later, you can get all the missed messages. So can you explain sort of the difference between when you would use one versus the other, or how to kind of have an overall solution to getting missed messages?
Well, good question. I mean, it's very strategic on what your objectives are. What data you want to be able to recover based on how old it is. So with PubNub, we provide two layers of caching. One layer is an in-memory cache that's for very short-term, spiky connection loss. So you're jittering like a quick elevator trip, or you're going through the tunnel for like 10 minutes long type deal. We'll automatically recover messages up to the last 100, which is our queue size limit depth that we've enabled for every account. We can increase that depth as required, but it would likely be better if you were to use our forever storage system, which is a separate API call that allows you to recover any number of messages without a queue depth. You'll use what we call a time token on PubNub, which is a sort of a timestamp, a Unix epoch, to the last 10 nanoseconds. So it's a high resolution 17-digit timestamp that gives you access to linear transaction history of all the messages. You can traverse backwards and forwards and decide which messages to consume, or just grab the last 100 if you really care about those are the most important, or maybe the last one because it's a configuration change. Then you can decide to do it like that.
Or even just the last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes. You
Precisely.
can do it based on time versus number of messages.
Good call, yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Cool. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.